Millions of Iranians voted for a new president today as their leaders rejected criticism of the process. Long lines of men and women could be seen outside polling stations in Iran and at embassies around the world. 6 candidates were allowed to run, but only Hassan Rouhani was considered a moderate. Supreme Leader Ayatollah Ali Khamenei rejected U.S. criticism the election is stacked in favor of hardliners. He said today his response is, "To hell with you if you do not believe in our election." In Turkey, activists weighed whether to end a sit-in at an Istanbul park that gave rise to widespread protests against the government. Last night, Prime Minister Recep Tayyip Erdogan met with a delegation of protesters. He offered to let courts and maybe a referendum decide on the park's future. Today, he called it a final warning.
We told the group that visited last night that we are asking them to show determination and support now, to speak to our youngsters, to let them take this step, and don't make us use different methods. Then we said goodbye to them. I hope this will end today and we will take our steps in determination.
Erdogan has called his supporters to rally in Ankara and Istanbul this weekend, raising the prospect of more tensions with the protesters. A Chinese newspaper today urged China's leaders to talk to Edward Snowden, the man who exposed U.S. surveillance programs. Snowden also has said the National Security Agency hacked targets in Hong Kong and mainland China thousands of times. Today, the Communist Party-backed Global Times addressed that allegation in an editorial. It said the Chinese government should let him speak out and use it as evidence to negotiate with the United States openly or in private. U.S. officials have repeatedly accused China of cyber attacks on American targets. A record-breaking wildfire near Colorado Springs, Colorado, has claimed new victims in property and lives. As the fire burned today, officials said they found the bodies of 2 people who'd been trying to flee on Tuesday. So far, the fire has destroyed 389 homes over 25 square miles. But local Sheriff Terry Makita said it slowed in the last 24 hours.
I know that circumstances can change, and we're going to expect a little bit of wind today, but you notice we have some cloud cover. That's to our favor, and the winds are calm throughout the night for the most part. And right now, we're not sitting here talking into the wind, so that's a good sign as well.
The fire now is the most destructive in Colorado history. There's no word yet on how it started. A military judge has barred the suspect in the Fort Hood, Texas shootings from arguing he acted to protect the Afghan Taliban. Army Major Nidal Hassan is charged with killing 13 people and wounding nearly 3 dozen in November 2009. The judge ruled today there was no evidence that his fellow soldiers posed an immediate threat to anyone in Afghanistan. The U.S. House today passed a defense bill that includes mandatory 2-year prison terms for sexual assaults in the military. It also would strip commanders of the power to overturn sexual assault convictions. The overall bill envisions $638 billion for defense in the coming year. But President Obama has threatened a veto because it blocks closing the detention facility at Guantanamo Bay, Cuba. The latest data on the U.S. economy left something to be desired today. Factory output barely rose in May, and consumer sentiment fell in June. Wall Street reacted with a Friday sell-off. The Dow Jones Industrial Average lost nearly 106 points to close at 15,070. The Nasdaq fell nearly 22 points to close at 3422. For the week, both the Dow and the Nasdaq lost more than 1%. Those are some of the day's major stories. Now back to Judy.